to start off this topic, I think it's important to say that I'm usually not a DLC guy, right? And
hmm
when we were watching the Xbox Games Showcase, and during the little Starfield section, someone asked, like, "Hey, is this enough to bring you back to Starfield?" And I think, interestingly enough, all the updates that they've made since that the game's been out, with or about to come out, because is the change with like the rovers and stuff, is that out now? Okay, so it's not out yet.
Yeah, that's still being worked on.
Okay, but I know like that cities have maps, right?
hmm
So I mean, we'll talk about some of those updates in a second. But regardless, those changes are more enticing for me to go back and play through the main game than for me to like buy the DLC. Does that, you know what I mean? I don't know why.
hmm
It's just like, I don't know. But that's my preface to say, okay, what is the DLC? Do you think it's or do you sorry? What is the update? And do you think you're on board? You're ready for the DLC coming out?
Yeah, sure. I mean, because it's Bethesda Game Studios, I'm
Right.
usually on board for their DLC. At least for like games that I'm interested in. Not saying that I wasn't interested in Skyrim, but Skyrim, I only actually played one DLC out of the three like packs that they released for that game. But like Fallout, I've played all of it, and Starfield, I intend to play all of it just because,
Is
I
there
really
a
like
number on how
those
many
settings.
Starfield DLCs there'll be?
No. They keep reiterating in the marketing for Shattered Space that it's their first story DLC, so that implies that there's going to be more, but they haven't really been clear
The
on
first and
the amount that
only.
they're doing.
Yeah,
I mean, a
okay.
lot of people were wondering if it was going to be the only one, just because, you know,
They have so
by
much
this
else.
point in the development of Fallout 4, we had already had like three or four DLCs, and we haven't had one like official main DLC for Starfield yet. So
That's crazy,
some people
really.
were considering that was
Wow.
going to be it. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, as far as the things that were added recently, like the maps and everything, they're cool. It's kind of like a 3D, map representation of either like the city that you're at, or you can open them up on any planet that you're on, and it kind of gives you like a little lay of the land with any of the locations that are randomly generated on there, so you can explore that way.
Right.
It's kind of a small thing, but like it is a nice little quality of life thing, just because the ones that were in the game before like hardly classify as a map. It was just like a bunch of dots on the screen, more or
Yeah.
less.
Yeah.
So it's a nice small addition. The one thing that I do like that's been added in are gameplay settings that you can tweak, and it's a big list of settings that you can, change a bunch of different ways, like how you interact with the game, and then it will change and affect the amount of XP you get. So there's things like you can make the enemy combat AI like a lot harder, and you can make yours like a lot easier. So you like, for instance, like you'll deal less damage, but your enemies will deal more damage. You can increase the amount of credits that stores have. You can increase the carry weight or decrease the carry weight you have. You can, make it so that certain healing items
That's
are
cool.
required to, cure different ailments that you get in the game. There's a big list of different options that basically you can tweak. And like I said, it affects your XP. So if you make things harder for yourself, it'll make it so that you earn more XP just based on a percentage. If you make things easier on you, you'll earn less XP. But basically, you can tweak the experience how you want. And I definitely went in there and because
What'd
basically
you do?
whenever
Give me a peek. Give me a peek.
yeah, sure. Basically, when we were playing it before,
The
I don't
default.
remember if I ever mentioned it to you, Sri, but I always felt like the on-foot combat was a little on the easier side. So I was always bumping that up to hard, but then I was getting my butt kicked in the space
Sure.
combat.
Sure.
So I tweaked it that way. I have like the enemy AI combat set to like very hard right now, and then I have my space combat set to easy, which is pretty much how I wanted that. I cranked up that carry weight capacity because you need that
Yeah.
high in
Yeah.
Bethesda games. And then like I tweaked a couple other things that like didn't seem as important to me to try to get my XP to balance out. So basically I am earning slightly higher XP with my settings, but basically I was just tweaking a bunch of things to try to make it a bit more engaging on the bottom part, or on the gameplay part on the ground.
Hey, how's it going, Loden? No, I'm looking forward to getting back into Starfield. I mean, it's one of those games that like I mean I remember so fondly, and I think we both kind of went through a similar thing, maybe for slightly different reasons. But like for me, Starfield was like this game that I was obviously looking forward to, but then because because I tore my ACL, I ended up having getting surgery, and right like I got the surgery right before Starfield came out, so I had like an excuse to just literally just sit in bed and just play through this game and just like get totally immersed. And yeah, it's like those it was like a really cool experience going in. And there's certainly I could it's one of those things I could certainly I knew that there was road bumps while I was playing the game,
Mhm.
but regardless of that, I think that, and again, I say we share. Nick and I kind of shared a little bit of it because we would like kind of almost daily, I think, text about like I did this, and then like this happened, and then it's like, all right, let me know when you get to this. And yeah, so that was
Yeah.
that added to that experience.
Yeah, and I should add that, I should probably mention the new content that I was playing. So,
Yeah.
like, new modifiers and maps and things like that are nice, but there is some new content that they added to the game. The big
Wait,
thing
actual content?
is,
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, the big thing that they added is their creation system, which is essentially like their,
Oh.
mod support for the game.
Mm.
They have a system similar in the Skyrim Anniversary Edition, where like it's a hybrid mod marketplace and like free mod things. So people can upload mods that you can download for free.
Yeah.
Verified creators can upload mods that you can pay for with like microtransaction currency. And the basically how it works is the verified creators will get a royalty on every download
So it's kind of
purchased
like
for those mods.
I guess it's to I guess equate it. It's kind of like the way Fortnite does their creator club or whatnot. Yeah,
Yeah, kind of in a way. I'm not super familiar with how Fortnite handles it, but
yeah.
like I've heard some people draw comparisons to apparently like Minecraft has a similar mod
Oh,
marketplace kind
sure,
of
sure,
thing as
sure.
well.
Okay,
So um, it's
decent
basically
comparison.
it's a place you can go to get mods, and
Right.
the official creation kit is released as well now. So if people are interested in making mods for Starfield, they can start doing that. But with this, they also added a free quest to the game. Officially, Bethesda Game Studios released this, and it's for the Trackers Alliance, which I believe previously they were only offering those like bounty hunting missions from the little kiosk terminals, if you remember those in
Yeah, yeah.
cities.
Uh huh.
But now they actually have like a building and there's characters there. Whenever you land at like New Atlantis, there'll be a person at the landing bay that'll be like, "Hey, your reputation has kind of preceded you. We're tapping you on the shoulder. We think you'd be a good fit for the Trackers Alliance." And you have a little short dialogue with them, and then you go to the Trackers Alliance, which is on Aquila in Aquila City,
Uh huh.
and basically they have this mission that they want you to go on to try to prove that you have the stuff to be a bounty hunter in this world.
Right.
And I really like the introduction for the quest because the people in the Trackers Alliance, they all have like code names, and you
Mm.
pick out your code name and everything because they don't want, it's supposed to protect your identity and everything. So
What's your
it's
code
built
name?
up pretty cool. I went with Tempest. They have like some
Tempest.
preset ones that you can pick from, and that's the
Nice,
one that I
nice.
chose.
Isn't
But
isn't
yeah,
that a Black Ops 4 class?
probably honestly, I
I think it's sticking
don't
with you,
even
buddy. I
remember.
think I think you're in the headspace still.
Right? But yeah, this first quest is called the Starjacker, and it's this
Damn.
guy that's been flipping starships in a chop shop and like selling the parts illegally. And apparently he's been pretty squirrely. And so you meet up with this other person in the Trackers Alliance. You go and find a person on Aquila that's sort of like a known informant, basically. And this has like a
Mm.
new system that's also been added where if you use your scanner, you can see red highlights on people that have active bounties, and you can like approach them and either like initiate combat or like try to talk to them to get them to turn themselves in.
Huh.
So they have some cool bounty hunting stuff happening
That's
here.
great. They
And it's
just
basically
is there a reason like they add like was this like meant to be in the game initially and they just didn't have it done in time or like well is there a reason for this?
so there is a reason to it. I'll tie it in a moment
Okay, sure,
once
sure,
it
sure,
gets
sure.
to like the end here because it'll be clear where I
Okay.
mention it. Um, but basically, yeah, you go on this mission. You go to this new starport. It's a brand new location,
Hmm.
and there's a bunch of spacers in this space chop shop, and you are trying to basically find this guy that's the main bounty. And you're going through all this. It's kind of like puzzly in that like there's he's locked himself into part of the space station, and you have to find these keys to get onto a ship that has like a missile launcher that they were trying to take apart and
Mm.
like blast a hole through the space station to be able to get to where the bounty is. And basically the quest proceeds, but it does some interesting things that weren't really done in other quests in Starfield,
Right.
and so it was fun from that point. And then at the end, basically, yeah, you're like brought into the Trackers Alliance, and they have their little hideout that you can talk with people and do
Mm.
different things with. But the reason that I, put a pin in your question about the reasoning for putting it in,
Yeah.
the first quest is free. There is another quest that is part of the paid mod system that you can buy, and they're basically their idea. They put out a video for their June update, and they're talking about how they want to add more of these missions through this system going forward. So it's basically like little DLC quests that you can
So wait.
buy.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
And
Well,
so
that's such an
with
okay. That's interesting. Okay,
and
I'm sorry. It was just I didn't uh, expect
yeah,
this interesting side loop.
so basically another aspect or element of this, some more content that I did. Collector's editions owners of Starfield
Yeah.
got 1,000 free credits for this mod shop, and there was already a second mission available. So I just used the
Sure.
free credits that they gave me
Yeah.
to buy the second mission, which was also really like fun. It was a fun, mission where you are trying to hunt down a colony war sniper,
Mm.
who's basically like he's reminiscent of one of the characters from the base game, where like he's upset with the system and everything. But they also do some really cool stuff, like where you walk up to this person where you think the sniper is at, and you sit down, and he's talking to you, and he's just like, actually, he's got eyes on us right now. We can't get up from this table, and everything. So
Mm.
they set up some really cool stuff with this mission, and like it's a cool, fun mission. But the big kind of ire that the community has is that these cost money and will be costing money going forward, unlike a more traditional DLC like Shattered Space. Like it is just a quest that you do.
So how much money would this equate to if you were to have bought it without the credits that you received?
I think if it equates to 100 credits for $1, which I think is how it works, it was $7. So it's expensive for a quest. Like,
Do you think this was if you paid for it, you're just $7? Do you think it was worth
mhm.
$7?
Let me put it this way. I had fun playing them. I likely would not buy more if I was
Okay, okay.
having to fork over real money for it. Again, I had no problem spending my, creation credits that they gave me for free on it.
No, 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 yeah,
Um,
I get it, I get it.
but just like on a, value to content ratio, I would probably spend my money on a more traditional size DLC than, you know, buying each one of these Trackers Alliance missions.
See,
Like they're fun and cool. Like I don't want to like, downplay that. Like it is cool, and they were pretty fun, and like even more fun than some of the base game content from what I can remember. But yeah, like it's all said and done, I did both missions in probably like an hour and a half to 2 hours. So like it's just like really short kind of quest content that you
yeah,
can pay for.
yeah.
But I will say the mods have already started kind of piling in for the free ones. I got the unofficial Starfield patch, and also one
The
that
unofficial
basically
Starfield patch. It's just like a well-known
Yeah,
mod.
basically it's from the people that have done the unofficial Skyrim and Fallout 4 patches.
Mm.
They basically put out this patch that fixes a bunch of bugs that
Oh,
Bethesda for whatever reason doesn't fix themselves. So it has a bunch of that stuff.
good
I
for
also
the
got one that
community.
kind of removes the color grade filter from the game, which some people have issues with. I didn't personally hate it
Like
that much,
the
but
blue filter, like that kind of thing, or
it's just kind of like it's a color
what
grade
does it
filter.
look
It's like
like
a lot of
without
the
it now?
planets.
I don't know. I feel like that kind of ruins the whole aesthetic
It
of the game.
Yeah, I'm mixed on it. I only like got it really just to see like what it looked like. It kind of removes some of the atmospheric effects, like a lot of the fog and all of that, but it does make the colors look a little bit more naturalistic. It's not quite as, you know, washed out like some of the planets can have. So, uh there's just a bunch of other little tweaks like that, different balance changes and different mods that are starting to pop up. Yeah, I've only experimented a little tiny bit with it, but
Interesting.
it's definitely going to get better, I think, as time moves on.
I'm looking at the mods, and I will say that I do like Starfield with its filter. I think it's the vibe. It's the same way, like I think to me, like how Fallout 3 has like that weird grungy like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's just like a texture to it almost like that kind of, that's what it, I think that's kind of Bethesda's thing. But anyway, regardless, they do a good job of selling it here because they pick some stark atmospheric screenshots, and then they cut to like just nothing, so it looks very drastic. So I guess they do kind of sell it in that way. But yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, like it'll be interesting to see where it goes going forward. Again, I don't mod my games super heavily. Um, and there are some people that like won't touch the game until they have 800 mods installed. So I'm glad that it's already here and that people can start, you know, hammering out some really cool things because I know there's plenty of areas of the game that people have issues with, and it's sort of the same old story that comes out of every Bethesda game is that the modders will just fix all the issues that people have. So